Recurring orders is a powerful feature in Loo that automatically creates orders and tasks on a scheduled basis that you would otherwise need to set up manually. Recurring orders, or REOs, for your regular maintenance or service customers can save you time by setting up recurring orders and scheduled tasks. It can also recognize your revenue faster by streamlining your scheduling and billing processes. Correctly setting up REOs is key, as making changes once you've scheduled your customers out for a set schedule can cause some extra work. So, you'll want to make sure that you understand your setup options and how you'll use REOs in your business first. Before you can begin creating new REOs for your customers, you need to go to the setup page and configure your recurring order type, recurring order personnel assignment, and recurring order settings. First, you need to understand the various options for recurring order type. You can create as many recurring order types as you need to, with as many various options that support your busy service department. An important option to point out is the invoice options. Do you want to invoice this order every month, or do you want to invoice this order for each task as it's completed, which allows you to invoice and collect payments more frequently than once a month? For more information on recurring order types, go to loosupport.evasys.com and search for recurring order types. Next, let's look at the recurring order settings. You can determine how many months in advance Loo should create orders and schedule tasks. How do you decide? Well, if your service contracts are pretty regular and you don't often have a lot of scheduling changes, then processing 4 months out will work well for you. Loo will automatically create orders for each REO you've created for 4 months out at a time, and then at the end of that 4 months, create another batch for 4 months out. However, if you have a lot of changes to your orders or schedules, it might be better to schedule out for 1 month in advance. That way, you can make adjustments to the REO before multiples are created. Finally, let's take a look at configuring recurring order personnel assignments. This feature allows you to configure personnel with specific recurring order types, routes, and vehicles. Loo will automatically assign personnel to complete the tasks that are associated with the various recurring orders. If you create personnel assignments with the same order type and route for multiple personnel, Loo will automatically assign people to tasks in a round-robin fashion. Okay, so now you understand that you need to set up recurring order types, select your recurring order monthly settings, and decide how personnel should be assigned. Great. Now it's time to start creating some REOs to support your service contracts. Here we have an active REO already set up. This customer wants a weekly cleaning and is billed weekly as well. You can see on the recurring order profile for this customer that the recurrent schedule is weekly, and the invoice option is marked as Create an Invoice per Scheduled Task. Now let's walk through setting up an REO where your customer wants a weekly cleaning service, but instead of weekly, will be billed monthly. From the recurring orders main page, click the Create button to get started. Select the customer and then the recurring order type. Remember when we talked about recurring order types, we called the invoice option for a monthly maintenance/cleaning. So let's select that one. But wait, I thought the customer wanted weekly cleaning. Yes, but the invoicing option for this customer is monthly. This means that once all the scheduled tasks are completed for the month, the order can be invoiced. Let's keep going. Now on the recurring order profile for this customer, we can schedule the weekly recurrence for the tasks by clicking Update on the recurrence box. This is where you create the guidelines for this recurring order for this particular customer. You can give the schedule an appropriate name, then select the months and the repeat occurrence. In this case, the customer wants a weekly cleaning during the months of May, June, July, and August. Now, you need to determine what the scheduled task template settings are. This information is required for activating the REO. This information is where you tell the recurring order what kind of task, the estimated time to complete, and determine if specific personnel and vehicles should be assigned. The work order request template is where additional specific information about the request can be added. The SKUs section is where you attach SKUs for inventory, such as chemicals and labor, to be included in the REO. There are several options for how the SKUs will be handled for this recurring order. Once you're ready, you can use the outcome box to activate the REO. Once the REO is active, it'll move to the active page on recurring orders. And on the 20th of each month, Lou will look at active orders and create the appropriate work orders for the following month. Lou defaults to scheduling an REO's tasks on the first day of the recurrence closest to the first of the month. For example, if the first of the month falls on a Wednesday and the recurrence is set up for Thursdays, the first task of the month will be Thursday the 2nd. A couple options to point out here. Process now if you want the REO to process immediately instead of waiting for the monthly batch. Processed months. Here, you can view the list of processed months for the REO. You can roll back a month to make changes if necessary. View transactions will show you what has been set up so far. Now you've set up recurring orders for a couple customers, and Lou's working in the background creating these orders and scheduling these tasks for you. You're probably starting to see that there's a lot that recurring orders can do once they're set up. But what about invoicing and payments? How do you benefit there? Under More Options, you'll see Mass Invoice, Mass Payment, and Review and Invoice. Mass Invoice enables you to select multiple REOs and create invoices for them. However, it's important to note that if the scheduled tasks included on the order haven't been marked as completed, then an invoice will not be able to be created. With Mass Pay for recurring orders, we've made it easy for you to process payments for the customers who have provided you with a payment on file. If a customer has not provided a payment on file, then you'll want to send the customer their invoice by mail or electronic message so that the payment may be collected. If you want to do a quick review of information that may have been entered for completed tasks on your recurring orders, then Review and Invoice is the answer for you. From this page, you can double-click to open a work order, scroll to review the information, and then decide if you want to open the work order profile to make any adjustments. But if everything looks good, then you can click the Invoice button. Once you complete this series of prompts to select a POS station and customer messaging options, the invoice will be created and the work order will be marked as complete. Then, you can move on to the next order. As you can see, recurring orders are a powerful feature. But now that you understand the basics of how to set up recurring orders, learn more by going to lousupport.ephesus.com and searching for recurring orders.